Raptors head coach Nick Nurse is the most winning head coach in Raptors playoff history. Hoping to join him in that category is the Raptors G League head coach Jama Malalela.
Hey, Nikki. So bud.
And while their season is on pause, he's helping nurture the next generation of Canadian coaches with a virtual camp.
You know what? It's a fun connection time for me. I think there's so many great Canadian coaches, and I say this all the time. Like I think our players are getting recognized, our teams are getting recognized, but coaches aren't recognized as much. So the morning of the event, I sort of look forward to seeing all the faces of these great coaches that I know in our community, and get a chance to say hi to them. I think that often it's difficult to connect with people, so this was a nice way to say hi to the coaches and see how they're doing and check in with them. And yeah, a little bit of pressure because there's a lot of faces watching you, but that's part of the gig.
Malalela, who spent 5 seasons on the Raptors bench as an assistant coach, spent 5 weeks of the summer moderating a reading program for 200 grade 5 students with a focus on empathy and inclusivity.
I think to me the summer was a struggle of 2 pandemics, obviously, right? I think with COVID was the obvious one, but I think this sort of sense of racial inequality became the second one, and the way that young people had to mobilize around that and figure it out in really adverse conditions was challenging. And I think this call, or the set of calls, gave them an opportunity to voice some of their thoughts, but also just to see other perspectives and see things maybe they hadn't seen before. But it was more about seeing themselves represented in literature. And that's something that doesn't happen very often. Or seeing someone other than you represented in literature, which also is great for a reader.
Let's enjoy playing basketball. Professional basketball players, let's go. Come on, let's get a win. Let's go.
Malalela has spent much of his life trying to encourage and lift up a generation of promising young people. For 10 years, he ran a camp called Concrete Hoops Basketball Camp that promoted youth engagement and AIDS prevention.
It was cool. We did 10 years of that camp. And I think it's interesting because we planted a lot of seeds in some young people. And now we get to see them doing their own things, right? So we're just seeing success from a lot of our former participants. Our actually first year MVP is now an assistant coach with the Charlotte Hornets. So it's amazing that these coaches are really, one of them is a G League player. There's these success stories of these campers that we knew when they were 10 years old, and now they're sort of making it to the big time. So it's pretty cool.
And speaking of promises, coming up on CityNews, it's game day for the Toronto Raptors, and their season is on the brink of elimination. Which player is potentially out of the lineup tonight, and just how close are the Raptors to getting Giannis Antetokounmpo?
I thought we were a little slow, a little soft early on in that game, and they weren't. And that was kind of the difference, and then it was just hard to get back from there. So I would be surprised if we came out the same way.
It's game day, and that was Raptors' Fred VanVleet talking about their not-so-great Game 5. Now, the Raptors, their quest to defend their NBA championship is on the line tonight. And while many fear their season is already over, Raptors 905 head coach Jama Malalela says have some faith.
Listen, I think these playoff series are interesting to the NBA because there's a 7-game series. They took 2, then we've taken 2, and they took 1, and now we got to take 1 more, and then it's all tied up. And then it's 1-game showdown to see where we end up. So to me, there's these games happen. I think there's games where you kind of have a bit of a dud and it just doesn't quite go the right way, and that's obviously what happened there. And I think we got a heck of a ball game coming up here on Wednesday for everyone to look at.
Some of JAMA's own 905 alumni are playing big minutes with the Raptors, including Matt Thomas and Chris Boucher.
Boucher and Matt Thomas maybe trying to change the energy.
The coach has had the chance to help mentor them and watch their game grow on their journey to fulfill their NBA dreams.
For me, that's really the benefit of coaching. And I think that's why I coach, because I think you get to help young people and help them reach their dreams, help them move forward. And if there's anything, nothing much kind of more inspirational and wonderful than doing that. So it's been fun to be part of a lot of young people's journeys as they continue in basketball.
Let's enjoy playing basketball. Professional basketball players, let's go. Come on, let's get a win. Let's go.
As for his team, the Raptors 905, and their upcoming season, it's still anyone's guess where they're headed.
Yeah, they've been sort of a holding pattern for quite a long time. And I think as humans, we're not used to that. It's sort of a different sort of situation to be just waiting for something. So for many, many months, we were just waiting to see what would happen with our season officially, although we had a feeling it would probably be canceled. So we kind of knew that was coming down the pipeline. But for the G League, it's very interesting because we now don't know when our season will start again. So we're in a position where we are still now waiting to see what the next steps will be, even though this season has officially been canceled.
A big question for the Toronto Raptors, besides are they going to win tonight, is how close are they in the quest to get Giannis Antetokounmpo? Well, some NBA experts say that the Raptors and the Heat are the front runners to get the Milwaukee Bucks star. But again, those NBA experts are also the ones that said the Bucks would be in the Eastern Conference Finals, and that clearly isn't the case. The Raptors will tip off just after 6:30.